Hey everybody, welcome back to Retail Talks. Cody here, your host. Very, very excited. We're 12 podcasts in, and this might be my favorite segment so far. And we're going to bring you a lot of these moving forward. You know, myself, with my experience in the marketing world of about 8 years now, I've seen a lot. We have run thousands of advertising campaigns for our retail clients. And one of the things that I've always thought about is how can we bring not only contextual examples of what we are, doing for our clients, but how can we bring you different examples of what somebody, say, like a Lululemon, which is what we're going to cover today, is doing with their marketing? Where does their revenue come from? How many ads are they running? Who are they targeting? How are they growing? And really just giving you those stats to really kind of be almost a little bit more consultative with you from a consultant lens of this is what the biggest brands in the world are doing. So maybe kind of do some of it yourself. And, Lululemon just in 2022, we're sitting at the end of 2023 here, but obviously their financial data hasn't come out yet for full year 2023. So all this data I will be mentioning will be 2022 data. So let's kind of dive into it. So we're really going to kind of coin this as our master class of breaking down different companies. And in the future, let us know if you ever want us to break down, specific companies and what they are doing, and we can do those for you, and probably put out some different infographics on some different companies too. But I think we have like doing Decker brands. We work with a lot of shoe retailers, doing Birkenstock. We'll probably do somebody like a Dick's Sporting Goods, pretty multi-product retailer. But today we are going to focus on Lululemon. So let's dive in. So in 2022, we're just going to kind of cover really like 5 to 6 big data points. And I'm kind of going to riff on each of them. But I want these podcasts, these specific segments, to be pretty spicy and like just giving you a lot in a short period of time. So Lululemon's footprint in regards to their corporate stores, they have different wholesale partners, and then obviously their e-commerce section. That's their three ways of making revenue primarily. Is made up of 650 plus stores around the country, around the world. 350 of those are in America. So, they have about a pretty 50-50 split store-wise. I don't know about revenue. I didn't look at that, but footprint-wise, pretty much globally. Going down to, I think their one location countries is like Switzerland. They have one location there. But, a big operation. And when you look at roughly what they do revenue per store, it's about $6 million per store. So they are moving some volume, inside their stores and inside their footprint. And the one here in Iowa City, it's located in Coralville. It's not a massive store, but my goodness, they got 5 to 20 people at all times inside that store, which is pretty crazy. So their revenue in 2022 is a little over $8 billion. I think it was like $8.1 billion. So, they're a really good sized retailer. And one of the stats there's really 2 stats on here that I always want to hit on each time we do this, that I think is going to be really imperative that you look at your metrics and then the number of ads you are running as a little bit of a basis for this. So their revenue in 2022 was $8.1 billion. Their marketing spend, and this is not just digital, like what we do here at Omni. This is digital, this is influencers, this is traditional, this is race sponsorships, this is events, this is all encompassing, right? Was $328 million spent as an expense. So that's 4.1% of their revenue is going towards marketing. So that's the first data point I would ask you and challenge you to think about for your business. Mark Denkler with the National Shoe Retail Association, and they do a business report that found that the average retailer in their organization spent, I think it was 1.1% of their revenue on marketing. So think about that. If you're a retailer and, you may be very successful in your area, but you probably don't have the brand of a Lululemon. Few organizations do. But they're outspending you 4 to 1 on a brand that's already super well known. So it has nothing to do with how much they spent, that $328 million. It's the fact that they are investing very heavily into, and that's just their marketing expenses. That's not, store overhauls. That's not, employee compensation. That is just straight marketing expense really across digital and events and traditional, and then ambassadors is, I think, the breakdown. But 4.1%. So look at that for your metrics. Another thing too is as of December 2023, really this month as we're recording this, they're running 140 ads on Facebook and Instagram. So think about that. They're targeting people, all over the world. They're targeting people, mainly in America, because that's their American Lululemon page. So I guess it's probably not the world, but they're running 140 ads. And just to give you context, most of our clients are running anywhere from 20 to 60 ads. I was looking at one of our clients that's been a client for a while. They're running 110 ads. So again, we've hit on this in prior episodes, but you have got to get a high volume of ads going for your business. And it is the single thing I think about when it comes to one of the equations to success in your business is the volume of creative that you can produce and get out there. And it was about when I looked at it, it was about a 75-25 split between 75% video, 25% graphics. So take that for what it is too. And a plug, we do offer video ads here at Omni. So their target market, this is directly from their report. So I'm just going to kind of read it verbatim. Although our largest customer group is made up of guests who shop our women's range, representing 65% of our 2022. We also design a comprehensive men's line and have a targeted strategy in place. Revenue from our men's range is growing as more guests discover our men's products from our men's range. So just in general, 65% of the revenue comes from women and the other 35% from men, which, is probably to be expected. I probably would have guessed about a 2/3, 1/3 range as well. And then this just hits on a little bit of their guest experience. So this talks about stuff we've also mentioned in prior episodes as well, but guest experience comes to life through our powerful Omni operating model, which allows us to serve our guests both in store and online. We saw strength across both channels in 2022, with our store revenue increasing 29%, and e-commerce revenue growing 33%, and our biggest ever day of traffic and revenue on Black Friday in 2022. One of Lululemon's core strengths is harnessing the power of our guest relationships through our educators, ambassadors, and activations to build stronger connections and cultivate community across both physical and digital. And it just kind of goes into just talk about that. And really the biggest thing is that focus on both in-store and digital. And really their revenue breakdown in 2022 was 9% other. So their wholesale partnerships primarily, through yoga shops, boutiques. We have some clients that carry Lululemon, but it's a very small percentage of their revenue. And they even stated in their annual report, it's not significant for them, and they're not really looking to grow that in a massive way. Obviously, it's direct to consumer, and then their in-store being second. Because when you look at their direct to consumer revenue, that is their biggest segment. At 46% of their revenue comes online. And then the company operated stores at 45%. So basically 91% of their revenue comes from them directly of their own, assets online and in store. So my biggest takeaway from these is always going to be paying attention to the revenue they're spending on marketing. They grew 30% in 2022. So think about this, because let's break this down. I just kind of thinking this on the spot. Let's say last year in 2022, you grew 8%. So, modest growth. But let's say that your marketing expenses were 1%. Well, if you would have increased that to 4%, 400% growth in your marketing expense, because you have grown 32%. And that's what I always posed as the question to our clients is they don't want to spend to get. Where Lululemon, I was reading in the report, they planned on spending millions more in increase in their advertising in 2023 and what they did. And we'll be able to compare that now that we're actually close to the end of the year. And that'll probably be a segment we'll have on the podcast is what was the increase in revenue percentage, but also what was the increase in marketing spend. I can tell you that their increase in marketing spend year over year was about 25% more. Now, as a percentage of revenue, that may not be the case. It might have been still that 4%, but they are not figuring out how do I spend less dollars in marketing this year. They're how can we spend more to grow more? and that's the mindset of these larger retailers. So that's our Lululemon Masterclass. I hope you took a couple things away. The high volume of ads, they really have their target market refined. Their footprint is growing, grew 15% in 2022. So stay tuned for more of these master classes. As always, thank you so much for tuning in to Retail Talks. It's been a pleasure. Your host, Cody Fitzgerald, and we'll see you on the next one.